right. Hey, good evening, everybody. Welcome back to another Macabre Daily interview. My name is Brian Finnerty, Macabre Daily's resident therapist by day, horror writer by night. And I am really pleased to be here today with Deanna Milligan and Ramsey Fendall, who are the writers and directors of a new movie that's having its US premiere at Brooklyn Horror this year called
That's right.
Lucid. So welcome both of you. Thank you so much
Thank
for making
you.
some
Thank you
time.
for having us. It's really exciting to be here.
Yeah.
Thank you. We're
So I
really
know we
excited
have,
about the US premiere. That will be so much fun in New
Yeah,
York City, Brooklyn Horror.
yeah, because
oh,
one little fun fact, if I may jump in,
mhm,
I lived in, I mean, I live in, we're in Vancouver Island now, but I actually lived in New
okay.
York City for 15 years, and haven't been back for 7. So it's going to be a bit of a homecoming for me to Brooklyn Horror. So it's really fun.
Oh, wonderful. Yeah, so this is the US premiere at Brooklyn. You had your
Yeah.
world premiere in July, right? At
Right,
It was
at
Fantasia.
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 And then next on the 12th, we have our world premiere, or
Or
sorry,
inter
international premiere at Sitges. So
Yeah,
we're
Okay.
so
Spain.
we're going to Spain
Yeah.
this Thursday, which we're just right now trying to get our heads around.
Yeah.
Oh, that's amazing. So
Yeah.
I had the pleasure of watching the movie earlier this week.
Perfect. Okay.
Um, and I feel like, and I say this with so much love, I feel like this is going to be one of those movies that people watch and people are going to walk out and be kind of like, what the hell did I just watch? What was that?
Yeah.
We
Um,
take that as a point as a point of pride, I think.
uh,
So
Yeah. Thank you. Yeah. 'Cause I mean, I really like when we were editing especially the dream sequences, we really wanted people
mhm,
to have that feeling. Like somebody had been
had
dialing numbers and
yeah,
typing like
had slightly messed with
yeah,
your head and your sense
and you
of
feel like
yeah.
you're getting pulled in to it with the images
mhm.
into a dreamscape, and this is like a little snapshot into an artist's mind.
Yes, yes, an artist, and not just any artist, but an artist who is dabbling in psychedelic drugs
That's
to
right.
break through their writer or their artist block,
The
correct?
artist
The
block.
artist
Right.
block.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. That's
So
our, our running gag is, oh, if only it were so easy just to take a pill and boom,
Yeah. Yeah.
instantaneous creativity, right?
so that's
All
not
of your
that's not
blocks
where this
dissolve.
movie came from. You didn't just
But
take a
it's
little
very
heart-shaped
meta.
pill.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's super meta in many ways because it would be like a fantasy to have something like that you could use, but it's the work is hard when you're digging into these really sticky, ugly places. But that's where the best stories are. And if you are really,
Mhm.
really brave and you can get past those really dark places inside your creative mind and your memories and your dreams that you have, that you can unlock stuff in there that is really transformative.
Mhm.
Mhm.
So that's kind of what we were dealing with, and
Yeah.
as filmmakers, we wanted it to live that. We wanted to feel like we were also trying as hard as we could to look at the shadow side of things
Yeah.
and work hard as filmmakers to push past our own insecurities and blocks as much as we
Yeah.
could to see how that felt, and we owed that to Mia.
Yeah.
If our lead character is going through all of this, we would be pretty unpunk rock, not cool at all if we didn't do it too. So
It's in the friction where there's the really interesting stuff, right? I
Mhm.
think if it were just easy decisions, you took a pill and it all just sort of materialized, wouldn't that be nice? But
yeah.
in fact, it's really wrestling with this hard stuff and these really sticky points.
Mhm.
That's where the really good stuff is, and that's where I think art can become kind of transformative. And so that's what
Yeah.
I'm playing with.
Mhm.
When I feel like, making it a horror film. And to be honest, I feel like this is one of those horror films that kind of like stretches the boundaries and definition of what do we
The
consider
genre, yeah.
horror.
Yes. Yes.
But I mean, presenting it at a place like Brooklyn Horror Fest, I feel like what a perfect audience to really understand the intersection between like the horrifying and the dark and the beautiful and the interesting and the transcendent. There seems to be a lot of overlap between maybe the art world and the horror world there.
Yeah, very much so, because both just pull you by the face, when you have something that you really need to do, and somehow the idea just grabs you and pull you. It's quite monstery,
Mm,
like a possession almost. So there is a lot of really interesting similarities by being like possessed by an idea and not being able to articulate it entirely. Well, I mean, that's the whole thing I feel like about all art is you're constantly trying to figure out if you're unpacking it in the way that you're supposed to be or that you intended it to be. So you're filled with all this insecurity all the time, but actually if you just leaned into the fact that maybe if something not working out is the best thing you could possibly imagine, because there's going to be some new fresh idea that you never
Yeah.
thought of, so
It's part of the horror, I think, of Mia trying to deal with her mean teacher who keeps prodding her, like, who is the doll? And that sort of thing, is that there's almost no there's almost no real answer apart from just having to
she has to know.
she has to know, and she
Mhm.
has to keep producing to actually figure out what that thing is. So
yeah, it's more, seems that in art and specifically in this film, it's much more about the intent and the meaning behind what you're creating as opposed to what does it actually say on the page or
right.
on the screen, as is this case.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now you're both like long-term filmmakers and artists yourself. Did and I apologize for not knowing this about your backgrounds, but did either or both of you go to art school like Mia? And did
Well,
yeah,
for
what
me, I
was
mean, I was an actor when I was young. I was a child actor. Like I started at
okay?
12 years old. So my through line with the art world is, and art classes and things like that. Art school is all drama classes and
Mhm.
drama world of the 1990s, where
It's
everybody was a guru in the acting schools, and there was a lot of kind of cult behavior in acting classes. So that was feeding me.
right. It's
Mhm.
sort of cut that sort of experience is cut from the
Lindsay's
same.
from the art world.
I actually, so I'm in a funny position because I wasn't in fine arts. I was an art history person when I was young.
Okay.
And I ended up actually being in the commercial art world. So I
Mm.
saw a lot of the monkey business that went into discovering pieces and discovering people and talent and that kind of stuff. And
Mhm.
I was able to sort of slightly transpose some of that experience, but I feel like knowing enough artists who did viscerally experience, I mean, some of those experiences that Mia has with her teacher, I mean, that's actually like verbatim conversations that people actually had with instructors. So,
I
so
wondered
that
about
sort
that.
of
I was
so, and then to actually take that experience and then to sort of transpose it again to the experience of being a filmmaker, where, in our case, we know you submit to festivals, you get rejected, you make a pitch, people don't give you money. There's always this, you're always having to prove yourself in one way or another. And so again, those all sort of seem to share from the same, there's a common experience to that of like, you're never quite good enough. You're never quite delivering everything to everybody's satisfaction, put it that way.
absolutely, yeah. I think
Yeah,
it was
film.
It's like making a film.
it was so entertaining to watch the art school scenes. Like as someone who is not an artist and doesn't have that real life experience, I was
Oh,
absolutely watching that, just wondering how much of this is exaggerated for the
right,
movie and how
right.
much of this are artists going to be sitting there watching this movie going like, yep, I recognize them, I recognize him, oh
Well,
yeah.
it
Yeah.
was important to have it feel real. And now, fun fact, the actor who plays Arthur Colt, who's the mean art teacher, he
Hmm.
is actually an artist and he actually has worked as an art teacher. And so
Ah,
of that sort of crit talk of the going through the horrible experience of going through crit and class, he had done hundreds of times. And so it was And he is actually one of the sweetest, nicest people who would never deliver a smackdown like that.
But he got to embrace that shadow
But
side.
it's like he can completely, but he himself had experienced the smackdown, and I think it was sort of cathartic for him to actually play a character that was able to speak in those
Oh,
terms.
absolutely. The dark head of the patriarchy.
That's right. That's right. That's right.
So not John.
It's so not John,
yeah.
but he did it so deliciously that
Yeah,
because we knew he could. We knew that
yeah.
he had been in that world for so long and had been in art school, and I think really some of those smackdowns he had taken direct from criticisms that he had received when he was at school.
Oh,
So
that's
Caitlin is an
wonderful.
amazing artist. Like Caitlin did
yes,
all of that. The charcoal drawings, those are Caitlin's.
yeah,
Those
And
are her
yeah,
actual
yeah,
yes.
artwork.
And
Oh,
when
amazing.
we were
yeah.
prepping our set, Caitlin lived with us while we were designing the set. And
Okay.
For
she
5 months.
yeah, for
Caitlin
5
was
Wow.
Caitlin
yeah.
lived with us. Yeah.
Yeah, and when we were doing all the graffiti on the walls in her apartment and everything, they did all of that.
That's all Caitlin.
Yeah.
That's all Caitlin.
So it was
Caitlin is a
wonderful character prep.
yeah. And so not only was it this wonderful sort of deep dive into who this character is, but also it was this discovery that like, oh my God, who else could have actually done this role? Because Caitlin's capacity to do these
lived it.
incredible works of art, and you know, John Luna, who was the teacher, he was so impressed with what Caitlin was able to do. He's like, charcoal drawing is really good, and really good at drawing, really good at painting, really good facility with like
Yeah.
building sculpture and sort of just, you know, it's yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that's amazing to hear. That's
Yeah.
such a cool fact.
Yeah.
And it
And
makes
that's how we
sense.
discovered that thing with Mia's fingers being dirty all the time.
Oh,
Right.
yep.
We were doing the prep work on the studio, and all of the clothes that Mia wore, Caitlin would spray paint. And so her fingers would end up with this like
this
delicious
ink.
sort of inky.
She liked to
Yeah.
work with like an ink sort of an old-fashioned kind of ink pen, and she had this big sketchbook and was doing all this stuff, and it was
fingers in the
it was very tactile.
Yeah.
It was very messy, and it was very perfect for that character. So Caitlin really isn't Mia, but is Mia.
Yeah, really special.
Really special performance.
Really,
Yeah.
really
Comes out so clearly in her performance. I mean, it feels like this film, obviously the writers and the creators, you're very important, but it also just rests on Caitlin's performance.
Yeah.
And I mean, for the record, I loved her performance, but I feel like it's one of those that however you feel about the movie, about her, like you look at her and think like she just embodied it. She was giving this role everything she had.
Yeah.
She's very brave, very brave. And before we started making the movie, I remember Ramsey and Caitlin and I having a pact, and we said, look, whatever happens when we shoot this movie, we are going to try the very best, give the most that we possibly can to this film for each other. We're going to give everything we got. And we stuck to that. All three of us did, but Caitlin really showed up for that and was extremely brave with some incredible performances and deep emotions.
Hard stuff.
And lots of like really amazing choreography that they did for some dance sequences that were
right. Caitlin's also an amazing dancer.
And when they because of that, I think that's one of my favorite things about them as a performer is as a dancer. I mean, everything, not even that's in frame, but her feet and fingers are performing as the character in a way that is so fascinating. It is really, really cool to see that. And they always they know where to be on camera as far as like scenes and
always as I wasn't the operator for the whole time, but I did oversee the cinematography of the film, and always had I've worked with Caitlin in a couple of other shorts as well, and Caitlin always knows exactly where the camera is. I've never worked with another performer, even people that are immensely experienced. Caitlin just knows like, okay, camera's there, and I've never have to be like, you know, Caitlin never spins off on the edge of the frame and disappears, and I've lost Caitlin. Caitlin knows where the frame is at
even
all
in
times.
controlled moments where like it's really like where she has a knife or something.
Yeah.
It's really easy for actors to kind of lose where they are.
Mm.
And there's like a really amazing practical part of the performance that is keeping track of those things. So for film, it's like it's essential, and especially when we were shooting on film a lot of the time, and we would rehearse as much as we could, but
very
yeah,
commanding sense of space.
yeah,
Unlike anybody else I've ever
really talented.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I look forward to seeing her in more performances after
Me
this.
too.
Absolutely.
So obviously, like, she was a critical part of the movie. Before we started recording, we were talking about maybe an aspect of filming that doesn't always get the attention it deserves in interviews, but the composition and the music. And you were telling me a bit about Marta.
Yeah.
I wonder if you could just share a little bit about her while we have some time.
I would love to. Marta Jakubik McKeever is our wonderful composer. And while we were shooting,
That's where we started.
yeah, we started with
We
music.
started with music.
Yeah,
Okay.
First thing that we did is that we got a tiny bit of money. We got a little grant from Creative BC. Thank you, Creative BC, where Marta would have some money to be able to record some of this music as we went in. And so that we started with not so much, we started with an idea and then music.
Yeah.
And that was our way in.
So we had a lot of music going into it, and we knew we had that song. We had the Sweetbird song Between the Parents, so that sort of launched the whole idea of me as parents being in a folk rock band. And then some of the live musical pieces that we have in the movie, the actors are all singing live on camera. That's real.
No lip sync. And that was Marta saying, you can't, don't fake it. You guys got to shoot this for real.
Yeah.
And we're like, okay. You don't usually do that, but
whatever Marta says.
Whatever Marta says, and I'm so glad we did.
Yeah.
I'm so glad we did.
Yeah, it really does feel real, and it is.
Yeah.
And then while we were near the end of shooting and through post-production, we were doing some ambient sound music and that kind of stuff. Marta got sick. Marta got stage 4 ovarian cancer. And she's in hospice right now. So it's a hard thing to even believe is true, honestly, but she's young and it's too soon. So
it just doesn't seem right.
Yeah,
But
it's too soon.
she's one of our closest collaborators, and it's just like it's sort of everything. So
it's beautiful. It's tragic, obviously, to lose somebody, but like, I know from personal experience too that just not shying away from it, having the chance to actually talk about the person, to share stories, that that's an act of love. That's where in time, that's where like comfort and really positive, beautiful memories are going to come from.
No, that's good. She dove right into it, and when before we started recording too, we were chatting about how she recorded a number of the soundtrack stem pieces when she was in hospital. She was like undergoing cancer treatment, and she composed it's like 50 or 60 of these sort of short pieces, which became sort of these bigger stems that we ended up, using almost everything. Like she just brought us so much.
Wow,
So
it's amazing. And I appreciate her being so willing to let you share her story, and you being so willing. I think those are the kinds of things that, as an audience, you would never know what's going on behind the scenes. But I know that when I'm sitting in the audience at Brooklyn and people who listen to this hear this, we're going to be looking at the movie through a whole new lens now. So
I would hope that and it's really, thank you for that, because it's an opportunity for people to stop and know a little bit about her, and what an amazing musician, incredible person. So, and the music is really a big part of our film.
It's a big part of it.
It's something that you'll feel that when you're watching it.
It's a sort of it's a secretly a musical. Secretly. So or not so secret.
Well, that your next project can be a full-blown musical. Let's go all out. I want to be like, we have barely scratched the surface of your movie. And I could ask you so much more, but I want to be very respectful of your time. thank you both so much for talking
Thank
about
you,
Lucid.
Brian.
Where, just real quickly, where could people who are watching this, they can see it at Brooklyn, like
Yeah,
online, how can they connect with you to follow the
right.
movie?
We're working on it, but I guess we can say
We can
that
say this,
we
yeah.
have a distributor. We're with Film Option.
Ah,
Montreal-based distributor. And so we've got our Canadian distribution sorted out, and they're also going to be handling international sales. So we're hoping in the next little while to be sort of figuring out how we're going to roll out. This.
I'm hoping for good news soon, but probably Instagram, Lucid Feature Film for now, and
Yeah.
I'm hoping
okay.
something really fun to say soon about
Yeah.
where people can see
Yeah,
the movie.
but we're hoping to be in the wide world, streaming soon.
Yes.
That's our
wonderful.
goal. So
Yeah.
and it looks
Deserve
like
it.
we've made the first big step in that direction too.
Yes.
So stay tuned, world.
That is wonderful. And you'll both be at Brooklyn, right? Speaking
We'll both be
to.
in Brooklyn. Yep, for sure.
Yeah,
For sure.
Caitlin will come,
Caitlin will be there too.
and my daughter Jo, who plays the kid who gets their eye taken out.
Yeah.
Oh, that's your daughter.
Yeah.
Yeah, my kids are.
She and her two friends were like low key some of my favorite side characters. They need a spin-off.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah,
well,
no, it's gonna be really fun.
Yeah,
We're so excited about the screening. So
great.
yeah.
Well, hey, well, thank you both so much, and thank you everybody out in Macabre Daily World for watching.
For sure.
And we'll see you in Brooklyn.
Awesome.
Sounds great.
Okay. All right.
Okay. Ciao for now.
All right. See ya.
All right. Bye.